In the haze of cigarette smoke and feedback hum, where guitar strings bite back and the blues don't apologize, Billy Gibbons built something more than a career. He built a code. Long before stadium lights and gold records, Gibbons learned that music wasn't supposed to be clean. It was supposed to bleed a little. It was supposed to smell like sweat, diesel, and regret. And for over half a century, he carried that belief like a badge and a weapon. To the public, Billy Gibbons is the bearded mystic of Texas rock, the cool shadow behind ZZ Top's hypnotic grooves. But behind the sunglasses and sly grin lived a man with sharp opinions and an even sharper memory. He didn't shout his grudges. He didn't tweet them. He let them simmer, occasionally releasing them through carefully aimed words that cut deeper than insults ever could. At 75, Gibbons finally allowed the curtain to lift, not to settle scores, but to tell the truth as he saw it. These aren't petty feuds. They are philosophical battles. 5 artists who, in one way or another, crossed a line he never believed should be crossed. This is not a story about hate. It's a story about authenticity and what happens when someone threatens the soul of the blues. 5. Garth Brooks, When Polish Replaced Pain. For Billy Gibbons, the blues wasn't a genre. It was a rite of passage. You earned it by playing for rooms that didn't care if you lived or died, by staying up past last call, by learning heartbreak the hard way. It was never meant to be borrowed, and it was never meant to be sold shiny. So when Garth Brooks exploded out of Nashville in the early 1990s, clean-cut, stadium-ready, perfectly lit, Gibbons felt something twist in his gut. Brooks wasn't just successful. He represented a version of Southern music that had been sanitized, packaged, and delivered without the scars. Brooks sang with confidence and charm, sprinkling his songs with blues phrasing and Southern grit. But to Gibbons, something vital was missing. The dirt, the danger, the lived-in truth. A Texas radio host once recalled interviewing Billy around that time and asking him about the Nashville boom. Gibbons didn't hesitate. That's the kind of blues you can spill on your boots without staining them, he said. The line traveled fast. Fans laughed. Nashville didn't. What made it worse was that Brooks genuinely admired ZZ Top. He openly cited them as influences, praising their swagger and genre-blending fearlessness. But when Brooks began folding those influences into glossy country pop anthems, Gibbons felt mocked rather than honored. That man's got all the polish, but none of the dust, Billy reportedly muttered backstage at a Dallas event. It's barbecue sauce music, sweet-bottled, and made for TV. Their most uncomfortable moment came at the American Music Awards. Brooks approached Gibbons warmly, offering a handshake and praise. Billy accepted, nodded once, and replied, "Glad to hear it. Don't wear it out." The room went quiet. Brooks laughed it off. Gibbons didn't. From that point on, Billy never named names, but everyone knew. When he joked about counterfeit country and said only one kind of music smelled like diesel and heartbreak, fans connected the dots. Nashville bristled. The divide grew wider. To Gibbons, Brooks symbolized an industry that valued perfection over passion. Light shows over tone, shine over grit. The blues aren't supposed to sparkle, Billy once said. If they do, someone's selling them, not playing them. When Brooks later flirted with the idea of a roots blues project, Gibbons declined to comment publicly. Privately, he was furious. "They're calling it blues again," he told a friend. "Call it what it is, marketing with a twang." When invited to participate in a televised blues tribute linked to Brooks, Gibbons passed with a single sentence that became legend: "The blues don't wear rhinestones." It wasn't personal. Not really. Brooks just happened to embody everything Billy feared the music was becoming. For Stevie Ray Vaughan, when admiration turned to rivalry. In Texas, blues is sacred, and those who play it form a brotherhood forged in cramped bars and endless nights. That's why the fracture between Billy Gibbons and Stevie Ray Vaughan hurt more than any other rivalry. At first, wasn't rivalry at all. Stevie idolized Billy. He followed him, studied him, learned from him without ever asking permission. Gibbons remembered seeing the quiet young guitarist lurking near amps, absorbing everything. Didn't say much, Billy once recalled. Just watched. When Stevie broke through in the early 1980s, it wasn't subtle. Texas flood hit, like a lightning strike. Suddenly, the press crowned a new king of Texas blues. And for Billy, who had been carrying that banner for 2 decades, it stung. He never denied Stevie's talent. Publicly, he praised him. Privately, the pride cut deep. Friends recall Billy bristling at the idea that Vaughan brought Texas blues to the world. To him, that world had already been conquered. What made things worse was how close Stevie's sound came to Billy's own. The gear, the tone, the shuffle. It felt less like inspiration and more like encroachment. When Stevie's team reportedly reached out to ZZ Top's producer for guidance, Billy took it as betrayal. "He's not just wearing my boots," Billy said. "He's trying to walk in them." Their most famous exchange happened quietly backstage at Montreux. Stevie approached Billy, humbly calling him an inspiration. Billy smiled thinly and replied, "You learn fast." Then he walked away. There was supposed to be a jam session one day, a symbolic passing of the torch. It never happened. Billy later told friends, "I don't pass the torch to someone who's already got my flame." And yet, when Stevie died, something broke. Billy spoke with genuine grief. He was a brother in tone, he said. Those closest to him knew the truth was heavier. He mourned not just the man, but the conversation that would never happen. In later years, Billy slipped Stevie's licks into his solos, quiet tributes hidden in the noise. He never hated him. He hated what pride had stolen from them both. 3. Ronnie Van Zant, when brotherhood became competition. On paper, ZZ Top and Lynyrd Skynyrd should have been allies. Same Southern roots. Same rebellion. Same whiskey-soaked swagger. But the road doesn't care about paper. When they toured together in the mid-1970s, the clash was immediate. Billy ran a tight ship. Ronnie thrived in chaos. Late arrivals. Missed rehearsals. Loud opinions. Billy tolerated a lot, but not disrespect. The breaking point came during a rehearsal when Skynyrd's gear overtook the stage. Ronnie made a sarcastic remark about Texas blues. Billy smiled and shot back, then tried playing it in tune. From then on, it was war, quiet, competitive, and relentless. Longer solos, louder amps, on-stage jabs disguised as jokes. In Atlanta, Ronnie took a swipe at Hollywood cowboys. Billy responded backstage with a whisper, "He's selling beer, not music." When Skynyrd took over the headlining slot in Jacksonville and ran long, Billy unplugged his guitar and walked straight to the bus. ZZ Top left the tour the next day. Billy later summed it up perfectly. Sometimes you jam with brothers, sometimes with bandits. 2. Kid Rock, when image replaced story. By the time Kid Rock rose to fame, Billy Gibbons had seen every trend imaginable. None bothered him like this. Kid Rock wore the symbols, the flags, the hats, the attitude. But to Billy, the story wasn't there. The suffering hadn't happened. The fire hadn't been built. Kid Rock praised ZZ Top endlessly. Billy wasn't flattered. He felt copied. "He's got the look," Billy said, "not the life." Their tension played out in clipped exchanges and silent dismissals. When Kid Rock suggested a collaboration, Billy replied, "Dogs don't bark with echoes." As Kid Rock leaned into outlaw imagery and Southern blues aesthetics, Billy's patience snapped. "He's selling barbecue," he said, without lighting the fire. Their final clash came during a charity jam. Kid Rock dominated the mic. Billy stopped playing and walked off. Later he whispered, "That's karaoke with an accent." He never explained further. He didn't need to. 1. Eric Clapton, when two philosophies collided. Eric Clapton and Billy Gibbons respected each other. That made the tension worse. Clapton was refined, scholarly, careful. Billy was reckless, loud, unfiltered. To Billy, Clapton's blues were studied. His were survived. Their early encounters were polite until one joke about distortion froze the air. "Enough to make it real," Billy replied. Their infamous jam session ended abruptly when Billy's tone exploded through the room. Clapton reportedly muttered about too much fuzz. Billy never responded publicly, but he didn't forget. "The blues aren't museum pieces," Billy once said. "They spill drinks." When invited to Clapton's Elegant Blues concerts, Billy declined. There's no use turning blues into ballroom music. They never reconciled. They didn't need to. Both knew the truth. Final reflection. Billy Gibbons didn't hate these artists. He feared what they represented. A future where blues became safe, clean, comfortable. His grudges weren't personal. They were protective, because for Billy Gibbons, the blues were never about perfection. They were about truth, and truth, like the blues, was never meant to be easy. Which rivalry surprised you the most?